bigger or biggest mistake you've made as a coach, or the mistake you learned the most from?
That's easy. That's going after kids who you know in your heart are not good cultural fits. I know who they are. When I was younger, I'm like, he's a great wrestler. I can change this guy. You'd be amazed. I get some of these kids are good students. You'd think most of them aren't good students, but there are a few that fit through the cracks, sneak through the cracks. And I knew they were problem children. And as I said, I get to be a broken record. I always tell young coaches, I go, guys, just imagine every single kid in that wrestling room is your son. And are you going to recruit that kid and have him become one of your son's friends? And if the answer is yes, then that's the litmus test. Then let him in, bring him in. If it's no and you still recruit him, shame on you. And you see it at different schools that are desperate. You can see some of these schools that are desperate. I'm not going to name names. You know the names. You know who they are. And they're taking kids who are just not people who are going to add to positive culture of your program. And then all of a sudden they can't imagine, well, how did that happen? Why did I don't understand that. Well, you knew the kid was smoking weed all through since fifth grade. You knew the kid was in trouble with the law. You knew, and yet you took him. So shame on you.
And you don't have to name names, but have you not only recruited kids, but have you landed recruits that turned out to be what you just described?
Well, you remember when I was recruiting you and I backed off after the visit.
That was my coach. That was my brother. You did recruit my brother, but he was a nice young man.
I'm sorry. What was the question? I apologize.
That's okay. Did you not only recruit some of these kids that weren't the right fit, but maybe land those recruits and sign them, and that's how you realize, shit.
Oh God, yeah, that's how I live and learn. I could name 5 or 6, sure. And it was inevitably they don't go down by themselves, and that's the problem. It's like one thing if they're not leaders, but if they're leaders or if they're strong personalities, they're look, you go out, these kids are going out looking for trouble. They don't like to do it by themselves. They want to have little brothers in arms, and that's where you get in trouble. I remember when I was in college, there were some kids who were, not the greatest character, and of course they've grown out of it, but we had some problems. And I still remember being in a car with a couple of them, and they were going to go, go to the dorms and see these people, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm just not going to do that. I'm going home. And I literally got out at a stoplight, and they went to that dorm, and ended up in jail. It was just and it was a stupid thing, and it was like, why are you doing that? And there was, but I put myself in that situation. Thank God I took myself out. Now, if we had not had those people on our team, I would never have been at risk of being in that situation. And that's really the problem, because there was another person who was just a good kid who he just kind of went along. He was going to get a ride back, and they walked in, and then guilt by association. So, I've seen it happen many, many times, and that's what I tell everybody. I said, I tell everyone one of the first things I say when I go into a home is I gave my children the greatest gift any father could bestow upon their children, and that is I pick their friends, and I mean that by I recruited the kids who were going to be on the team that my sons were going to be on, and so I knew at Cornell I was bringing in great kids, who came from great families, and that is true. I look at my friends, my son's friends, and they're awesome, and good things happen when you surround yourself with good people. I mean, that's biblical. I mean, it goes back a long time.